In the small, close-knit neighborhood of Maple Lane, the spirit of Independence Day was in the air. Families were abuzz with excitement about their plans for 4th of July celebrations. Among them was the Johnson family, who eagerly prepared for their annual barbecue. Sarah Johnson, the caring mom, had her hands full making lively decorations and mouth-watering dishes. Her husband, Mike, was in charge of firing up the grill and ensuring everything cooked to perfection. Their 2 kids, Emma and Jake, were busy crafting colorful banners and practicing sparklers, eager for the lovely evening ahead. While the Johnsons were filled with joy and anticipation, there was one exception in their neighborhood, Karen, a neighbor notorious for her strict adherence to rules that often seemed to exist only in her imagination. Some neighbors affectionately referred to her as the rule police. She believed every sound should be controlled and every event organized according to her standards. As the day grew closer, whispers of the Johnsons' barbecue began to reach Karen's ears. Instead of joining in on the fun or quietly keeping to herself, she decided it was time for action. With pen poised over paper and a scowl on her face, she came up with a new plan: to call the police about a made-up HOA noise ordinance. Little did she know that this decision would spark unexpected chaos for everyone involved. As the 4th of July approached, the Johnson family dove into the planning for their barbecue with zeal. Sarah had created a festive atmosphere in their backyard, hanging bright red, white, and blue streamers from the trees and placing glowing lanterns along the picnic tables. She even made a large banner that read, "Happy 4th of July," for everyone to see. For the menu, Sarah decided to mix traditional favorites with a few personal twists. They marinated juicy burgers and seasoned hot dogs, ensuring plenty for their friends and neighbors. Sarah's famous potato salad and corn on the cob would be served alongside a colorful fruit platter stacked high with strawberries, blueberries, and watermelons shaped like stars. Meanwhile, Mike set up a designated area for the small fireworks display after sunset. He carefully organized everything to ensure safety while still creating an exciting spectacle. The kids were bursting with anticipation. Emma and Jake helped their dad by arranging sparklers and little fountains that would light up the night sky. They could hardly wait to chase each other around, waving sparklers and cheering as the colorful bursts danced above them. With everything planned out perfectly, the Johnsons envisioned a joyful gathering filled with laughter and camaraderie. Unbeknownst to them, Karen's interference was about to throw a wrench into their carefully laid plans. But for now, they focused on making this celebration one to remember. As the Johnsons finalized their plans for the barbecue, Karen sat in her living room, scrolling through her neighborhood group chat on social media. She stumbled across a post announcing the Johnsons' upcoming celebration and felt a familiar surge of irritation. The thought of loud music, laughter, and fireworks made her blood boil. To her, such festivities were an annoyance that disrupted the peace she believed every neighborhood should uphold. Feeling a sense of duty to enforce what she considered order, Karen picked up her phone. With a furrowed brow and a determined look, she dialed the local police department. "Hello, I need to report a violation of our HOA noise ordinance," she insisted, her voice dripping with seriousness. "The Johnsons are planning a 4th of July barbecue with fireworks, and it's going to be far too noisy." As she spoke, her frustration boiled over. She couldn't understand why others wanted to celebrate so loudly when they could quietly enjoy their own homes. Karen imagined her neighbors enjoying themselves without a care in the world while she was stuck dealing with an unruly community. After hanging up the phone, Karen felt a sense of satisfaction. She was convinced that her complaint would put an end to the raucous celebration before it even began. However, little did she know that this decision would lead to unexpected consequences that would turn her quiet world upside down. A short time after Karen's call, 2 police officers arrived at the Johnsons' home, their squad car parked in front of the cheerful decorations and lively atmosphere. Sarah stood at the edge of the yard, her smile fading as she noticed the police presence. Mike approached, a mixture of concern and curiosity on his face. The officers stepped out, introducing themselves and explaining why they were there. After hearing Karen's complaint about a supposed noise ordinance violation, the officers decided to listen to both sides of the story. They asked Sarah and Mike about their plans for the barbecue and fireworks. The Johnsons eagerly explained their festivities, highlighting that it was the 4th of July, a day celebrated with joy and patriotism. The officers exchanged glances, clearly amused by the situation. They gently reminded the Johnsons that loud noise levels are permissible during holidays like Independence Day. As long as you stay within reasonable limits after certain hours, you're allowed to celebrate, one officer said reassuringly. He emphasized that local laws allow for some festive noise during designated holidays and that people should enjoy these special occasions with their families and friends. After assessing the cheerful atmosphere and hearing from both parties, the police decided in favor of the Johnsons. They left with a friendly warning to keep safety in mind but ultimately supported the family's right to celebrate, leaving Karen's frustrations festering without any resolution. After the police left, Karen was seething with anger and disbelief. She couldn't believe that the officers had dismissed her concerns and sided with the Johnsons. The humiliation burned in her chest as she paced her living room, her mind racing with thoughts of how to regain control over the situation. How could they let them celebrate so loudly, she muttered to herself, feeling more frustrated than ever. Determined to assert her authority, Karen pulled out her phone and turned on Facebook Live. With a stern expression, she began to rant about the supposed chaos that was about to unfold in Maple Lane. "This is unacceptable. We have rules for a reason, and I'm not going to stand by while they break them," she shouted, gesturing wildly to emphasize her point. Her viewers watched in disbelief as she painted herself as a defender of neighborhood peace. As she continued her tirade, her emotions escalated, making her voice tremble with indignation. She even threatened to take the matter further, claiming she would rally other neighbors to support her cause. The more she spoke, the more she revealed just how determined she was to control the situation, even if it meant making a spectacle of herself online. Surprisingly, her outrageous behavior began to attract attention, and soon viewers were laughing and sharing her video, turning Karen into an unexpected local sensation for all the wrong reasons. As the 4th of July festivities unfolded, Karen's emotional outburst on Facebook Live reverberated throughout Maple Lane, drawing both laughter and concern from her neighbors. A few days later, however, her actions caught up with her. Local authorities, having reviewed the situation, determined that Karen's report about the Johnsons was false. They decided to issue her a fine for filing a misleading complaint. When Karen received the notice in her mailbox, disbelief washed over her. She felt a mix of humiliation and anger, convinced that she had been wronged. The feeling of being labeled a troublemaker in her own community was unbearable. She couldn't comprehend how her attempt to uphold what she believed were neighborhood standards had backfired so spectacularly. Instead of rallying support as she had hoped, Karen found herself isolated and ridiculed. Neighbors who once avoided confrontation now felt bold enough to share their thoughts on social media, further amplifying her embarrassment. The fine served as a reminder of how misguided her actions had been and how they had spiraled out of control. Struggling with the consequences of her behavior, Karen realized that asserting authority through fear and complaints only created division. Instead of keeping the peace, she had become the subject of jokes and ridicule, and the laughter centered around her instead of the fun celebrations she sought to disrupt. This eye-opening experience forced Karen to reevaluate her approach to community interactions moving forward. In the aftermath of her fine, Karen felt a wave of frustration wash over her, and she knew she needed to vent her feelings. Seizing her phone once again, she decided to go live on Facebook, hoping to gather support for her plight. With a shaky hand and an intense expression, she hit record and launched into a tirade. "Can you believe this? The neighborhood has gone completely wild," she exclaimed, her voice rising with indignation. "I tried to stand up for what's right, and all I got was dismissed. It's like no one cares about maintaining order anymore." As she spoke, tears of anger welled in her eyes, making her appear even more dramatic. Karen's complaints flowed freely as she pointed fingers at the Johnsons and their loud celebration. "They think they can just do whatever they want. This is not how our community should function." Her emotions spilled over as she described neighbors laughing at her, painting herself as a victim of their reckless joy. The more animated she became, the more absurd her claims sounded. She declared that Maple Lane was becoming a party town where no one respected quiet hours or rules. Viewers began tuning in from across the neighborhood, some shocked by her behavior while others found it laughable. As she continued ranting about the chaos around her, Karen unknowingly cemented her status as the neighborhood spectacle. Instead of rallying support, her Facebook Live outburst only fueled laughter and mockery among viewers who couldn't believe the lengths she went to defend her misguided sense of authority. Karen's Facebook Live video rapidly gained traction, spreading like wildfire across the neighborhood and beyond. Viewers quickly began sharing the footage, some tagging friends and urging them to watch her outburst. The combination of her emotional breakdown and outrageous claims made for highly entertaining content, and soon it was the talk of Maple Lane and neighboring towns. Comments flooded in as people tuned in to witness her dramatic performance. Some viewers expressed their support, sympathizing with her frustrations and agreeing that noise can be disruptive. Others, however, took a more mocking approach, delivering sarcastic remarks that pointed out the absurdity of her situation. "Is this Karen's audition for a reality show?" one commenter quipped, while another joked, "Next time, maybe she should bring popcorn instead of complaints." As the shares multiplied, local memes emerged featuring stills from her video alongside cheeky captions. A new nickname, Karen the Noise Avenger, began circulating, poking fun at her misadventures. While Karen had initially aimed to rally support and protect her vision of neighborhood order, she became an unintentional comedic figure. The video even caught the attention of local news outlets, who began reporting on the Karen phenomenon. By the time the 4th of July celebration arrived, her name was synonymous with over-the-top reactions and public embarrassment. Rather than stopping the Johnsons' barbecue, Karen's antics ensured they were at the center of a beloved neighborhood event, while she herself became a local sensation for all the wrong reasons. As the sun set on the 4th of July, the Johnson family basked in the warm glow of their backyard celebration. The smell of grilled burgers and hot dogs filled the air, blending with laughter and cheers from friends and neighbors who had come to join in the festivities. Despite the chaos caused by Karen's antics, the mood remained light-hearted and joyful. Mike, flipping burgers on the grill, shared a chuckle with Sarah about how their plans had taken such an unexpected turn. "I never thought our barbecue would make headlines," he joked, glancing at Emma and Jake as they played with sparklers nearby. The children were delighted, running around with their friends as colorful fireworks began to light up the sky above them. Throughout the evening, Sarah felt a sense of community spirit that seemed stronger than ever. Neighbors who had once been hesitant to engage openly were now mingling together, united by laughter and shared stories about Karen's viral Facebook Live outburst. They exchanged friendly banter about how they could turn this into an annual tradition, one that celebrated not just independence but also unity among neighbors. As fireworks burst overhead in brilliant colors, Sarah took a moment to reflect on what had transpired. "It's funny how one person's negativity can lead to so much joy for everyone else," she said, smiling at Mike. They both agreed that while Karen may have intended to disrupt their celebration, her actions inadvertently brought everyone closer together and made their barbecue a night to remember for years to come. As the 4th of July wrapped up, the Johnsons reflected on the unexpected turn of events that had shaped their neighborhood dynamic. The cheerful laughter and camaraderie of the day brought a stark contrast to the earlier chaos caused by Karen's misguided attempts to enforce her imagined rules. Many neighbors shared stories of their own encounters with Karen, illustrating how her actions had long been a source of tension in Maple Lane. However, what was once viewed as a nuisance quickly transformed into an opportunity for community bonding. Neighbors who had felt hesitant to engage found themselves connecting over shared jokes about Karen's exploits, unified in their enjoyment of the holiday festivities. Sarah and Mike noticed how their barbecue not only celebrated Independence Day but also fostered a renewed sense of togetherness among families that had previously kept their distance. Karen's antics, instead of dividing the community, had sparked conversations about support and understanding, emphasizing the importance of enjoying life together rather than adhering to rigid standards. The Johnson family learned that sometimes, it takes an unusual situation to highlight the beauty of community spirit. As fireworks colored the night sky, many residents vowed to make this gathering an annual tradition. They recognized that in celebrating together, they could inspire a more supportive environment where joy prevailed over conflict. While Karen may have initially sought to impose order, her actions ultimately served to strengthen the bonds among neighbors, leaving them eager for more celebrations filled with laughter and unity in the future.